you guys like ready to do an activity that may or may not be paranormal? We'll find out by the end. If these activities are in fact paranormal. That was the worst like cold open.
All right, let's do it again.
You've ever done?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have anything better this time, but that's fine.
I'm not gonna buy a Ouija board, but I'm gonna borrow one.
I hated that.
I don't get the. Oh, Mika.
Oh, Mika.
Oh.
I knew what you were talking about.
I thought it was like a pun. Like,
I knew
with
what you
words.
were saying.
I thought it was a word pun.
Yeah. Aren't all puns with words?
Oh no.
Why is this like us at the drive-thru?
As opposed to other puns, that was what I was thinking of. I'm like, how can I make another kind of pun without words? Wait, I need to speak to make the pun. Oh no, a conundrum. As hard as I try, I can't make a pun without a pun.
Oh.
So we're in the new studio.
Yeah, maybe that's why the vibes are weird, because we're in a different place now.
It has a gas leak, I guess.
I think we're all very stressed.
Yeah.
And very tired.
We all just moved into separate places. Well,
within a span of like 3 days of each other.
Mm-hmm.
No, not even that.
No, like 2 days, yeah.
A day.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because like Logan and Frani moved the first day without me and Bridget, and then the second day we helped them. And then, what are you saying to me? Can you say words? Oh, okay, I'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that.
We'll get there.
I didn't want to say the words. That's
big
not my
reveal.
news to share.
You don't want,
Anyway, so they moved, and then me and Bridget helped them move, and then me and Bridget moved, and Logan helped us, and it was just this whole thing.
And Franny was injured.
They
I
don't
hurt
know
my
what.
knee.
No, fuck what you're about to say.
What?
Sorry, they don't know what tape is. Let's let that be known right now.
I didn't pack the boxes.
I had
okay?
to carry two 50-pound boxes of books with no tape on them.
Listen.
I kept getting hit in the face with the literal grapes of wrath. You know what I mean? Like I felt the real wrath of the grapes of wrath.
No,
we don't.
No, it wasn't really that book, but it's not important.
Well, I was hoping it was, because I actually really like that one.
It's a great
I hate that book.
But
I heard about the box
You hate
of
the
rocks.
grapes of wrath? Oh yeah, in the box of rocks.
It was not a box of rocks.
It was a bag of rocks. That was going to be put in a box, but then it was carried up in a bag by Ron.
But anyway,
No,
in the midst of it all,
in
the midst of
carried
it
it
all,
back.
Right,
I
he
just
carried
heard
everything
that.
else.
I just heard that you packed rocks.
Listen, they're from Michigan trip, and we're gonna tumble them.
in the midst of it all, we got engaged. Me and Bridget.
No, that's wrong.
Like, why is that my entire work? When they found out, they were just like, take a bottle of wine. And then today, I was there after posting it on Facebook yesterday, and they're like, oh my god, congratulations, 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 congratulations.
Yeah, you hate their kindness. You
It's
can't
really,
stand it.
it's really cute, guys.
It really is cute.
Bridget asked me, and it was really cute, after I ruined her plan to propose to me. I ruined her plan. She had a plan, and oh gosh, the headphones just came unplugged. Bridget, you can't jostle.
Sorry.
We all jostled.
The engagement is up. No, I'm just
unison.
kidding. But no, she had this really cute plan, and she was like stressing about the details of the plan and like emphasizing to me that like certain things need to happen a certain way. And I was like, calm down, it's gonna be okay. And I made a joke, because we always make this joke. Like Bridget always says to me, like, what if I propose to you in the middle of this Arby's? So I was like, oh, what, are you gonna propose to me at X place? And just the look on her face said it all, that she was really going to. And then I felt really bad about it. But then she just quickly changed her plan and proposed to me that same night. And it was really cute. And I said, I didn't see you down there.
For the full story, because I don't know if Logan and Franny know the story of what happened.
They were here.
Well, I mean, even if we were here, the people don't know.
Oh, the people don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys knew. Is
I
what I was saying.
don't know.
Fuck us if we know. The people don't know.
We're
The
gonna
people
find out.
don't know. So what happened was, I said, hey, to Madison's mom and sister. I was like, hey, I'm going to propose to her tonight. I'm going to go to the apartment.
And this
And
was
then-
like our empty apartment that we had not yet moved into. Like,
Right,
We're,
yeah.
Like, and it was very cute, because it's like, we're starting this whole new thing together, and we're starting it engaged.
Hey.
Hey, but I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do this tonight, and they're like, oh my god, we have to come with you, and I'm like, okay, like all right,
With an audience this time.
with an audience, okay, and so they came and they filmed, and Hale, name redacted,
You can say her name. Her name's Hale. She's my sister's friend.
yeah.
And her address is.
Her address is
Yeah.
no.
And her telephone number, if you'd like to contact her, is area code.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
But she was filming and she was like, you should get down on your knee because like Madison and her sister and her mom were
They like
all
lured me into the other room.
yeah, they were in
It
our
was,
bedroom.
it was like very random. My sister was like, Madison, come in here. And I was like, what? And she was like, so what's your plan for in here? Where are you going to put your stuff? And I was like, oh no. And then she started criticizing it when I told her. I was like, well, I think I'm going to put
She's
this
trying
over
to make it believable, dude.
And she was like, I think I'm going to put this over here. And she's like, no, I don't think you should put it there. And I was like, why'd you ask?
But then I was on my knee forever. Like I swear to God, 3 minutes. Just on my knee. In the fucking carpet. I'm just waiting.
It's the love of my life, and I have to wait 3 minutes on my knee.
No,
And like the
it just
issue
felt like
was
forever.
The issue was because she started criticizing my choices for locations of items. I had to start arguing with her about why they should go there.
And like your mom was like, "Okay, Madison, like we gotta go get the cleaning stuff." And
Because
Madison,
that was the premise. We came there to like clean, like wipe everything down and like vacuum the floors and stuff
Right.
before we moved our shit in.
and Madison was like, "But wait," and kept like arguing with Anna, and then Madison's mom was like, "Okay, we gotta go get the stuff," and then Madison was like, Do I have to come down with you? Do I have to come?" And they're
Okay,
like,
this
"Yes."
really makes me sound like a lazy bitch, but I want to
No.
clarify that I have a little thing called foot hurty condition. That's like literally my feet hurt all the time. It's a whole thing. It's my whole life always. So we had been like doing a lot of shit that day.
Yeah, I mean,
And so my foot hurty condition was acting up. My foots were real hurty, and I was like, "Can't you guys just go down and then I'll help you clean it? I just don't want to go downstairs."
didn't mean to-
Stairs really makes my foot hurty.
Real great place to live. In regards to that.
Yeah, I know. I like
Yeah.
like literally I struggle with stairs so much because I have like short little tendons that are not the size that one's tendon should be. And so stairs are my sworn enemy, and yet I picked a place on the 3rd floor with no
Yeah.
They
elevator.
live at the top
Yep.
of a castle.
God,
It's tough.
might as well be. But yeah, so I'm down there, and it feels like forever. And Madison's arguing.
I'm always arguing. If you didn't know this about me by now, I'm always arguing a point.
Always.
Yep.
And then finally she comes out and she's like talking enthusiastically to her mom about something. I don't even know what.
I'm always talking enthusiastically too. I don't think I've ever talked unenthusiastically in my life.
Never. And so she comes out and she's still talking to her mom. And she turns over and she looks at me. And then she turns back and I'm on my knee. I have the fucking ring. The box is open. I'm ready. And she looks at me, makes eye contact with me, and then turns around and keeps talking to her mom.
I didn't I saw her on the ground, but I thought she was just like sitting on the floor. Because we had been like up and doing stuff all day, so I thought she was just like sitting on the floor waiting for things to happen.
Which I mean would have made sense. Yeah.
And so I didn't realize, and then they were all
Bridget,
like,
don't give her this. She literally looked at your ass proposing and went, "So this is what I was thinking for the living room."
it just didn't register. I was on my own thing. Like I was thinking about other stuff. And I
And-
wasn't expecting it to happen.
Yeah, and then I went, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
And they were all like, "Look, Madison, really?" And I was like, "What?" And then I was like,
She did, and she like covered her mouth, and she was like, "Oh my god!"
It was
And then
really cute.
I was like so shocked by the fact that she didn't recognize that I was proposing
And
to her.
then everybody was like,
I
"Bridget, you
forgot
have
to
to do your
ask."
speech. You have to do your speech." And I was like, "Oh, you have a speech?" And she said, "Will you marry me?" And I was like, "Oh, that was the speech."
I know it wasn't. My brain just went blank. I think I said,
Oh.
I want to propose to you in the place we're starting a new chapter of our life. Will you marry me?
Yeah, and I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, but I like for a minute there, I just forgot to ask the question. I just stared at her.
You're just like, "Will ya?"
I was just holding the ring box.
I know, and I was like looking, and I was like, "So do I just like grab it out of there?"
I froze. I completely forgot.
But it
That's
was
the wrong question. Like, what you gonna do with all that junk? Says whatever question comes to mind.
It was really
God.
cute though, and I'm very happy, and we're engaged now, and that's the Crosscut Cinema Life update.
Yeah.
I could have been.
Oh, and we have 2 cats. That's
true.
really important too. We moved to the
It
new
is.
place and got cats on the same day because that's because we're lesbians.
Glenn
Like, is it not the most
pain.
lesbian move to U-Haul, get engaged, and get 2 cats on the same day?
We didn't get engaged on the same day though.
I mean, it might as well have been. It was like literally
In like one
like 8
span
hours
of-
prior.
Yeah, you're right. Get engaged, U-Haul, and then cats.
But
That's the order of things, if you're wondering.
the cats' names are Buddy and Smokey. They're very cute.
Yeah. If you guys want us to post videos or pictures of them, we can do that.
We've never once asked if they want videos of our dogs, so we're just gonna assume you guys don't.
I mean,
I'm gonna start posting them anyway.
Nope.
I'm gonna start
They don't
posting
have
them
faces
anyway.
for show business.
Mila's
The cats
literally
or-
in like the thumbnail of last week.
People don't know that shit.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't know that's Mila.
How could they not know that's
Oh.
Mila?
It could be any dog. They don't know my dog.
I guess.
What?
Why would you?
I don't. Okay.
I don't know if she wants to be in the limelight like that.
Oh, I see.
Well, she is.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm being
I'm
Mila's.
one of those parents like Macaulay Culkin, my little baby. Oh my gosh.
Oof.
Anyway.
But
Speaking of little babies and parents that do things to them against their will,
Wait.
yeah.
Paranormal Activity.
That was the. Okay, here we go.
That was the weirdest
it
segue.
didn't come out right, but like
at
the
all.
whole thing about Paranormal Activity is like they're trying to get this baby,
They don't know that till the second one.
and they're trying to get this baby for their
They
demonic,
don't know that
for their
till
demonic
the
and evil
second one.
purposes, like Macaulay
You are-
Culkin's dad.
You are
It's
revealing
spoilers.
things about the second movie before even the first. Has
We're
been
gonna talk
spoken
about this. We're gonna talk about both of them.
Yes. So anyway, spoilers ahead.
Obvious. Well,
I think that was a given.
No, but seriously though,
I was
we're
sprinkled in the
doing
fact that
all
I'm
6
gay.
films. We're doing 2 an episode. We were originally going to do 3, but then we realized that that's insane because we only have so much time to record right now, and we also have so much content to produce. So
Yes.
we
So
decided. Also, I just feel like we have so much to say about these movies that we don't want a 3-hour podcast about Paranormal Activity. We feel like that's not what you want either. You'd rather have
Yeah.
them in shorter doses than that.
So yeah, we're gonna do 1 and 2 today, and then we'll do 3 and 4 a different day, and then we'll do 5 and 6.
Which is marked ones in Ghost Dimension. They don't have numbers anymore.
So yes, we are splitting them up.
So let's talk about Paranormal Activity. Franny,
Let's
what'd you
talk
think of
about
it? What is your history with Paranormal Activity?
I mean, I remember watching it as like a kid and everything. I've always liked them. Really, like they're like that kind of concept is like the only thing that really scares me in the world. I'm not.
But like ghosts.
Yeah, I don't fuck with ghosts, but like I can watch like any slasher or anything like that. Like that shit doesn't bother me. I can watch gory shit, anything as long as it's. But if it's ghosts, I will be fucked up for days.
You know what scares me the most in a horror movie? Like not the thing that like scares me the most, but gives me the most like horrified reaction. And I think we've talked about this before, Logan, is like when there is like body horror, like gore, but when it's surgical.
Yes.
Like Human
Specifically.
Centipede like fucks me up because it's like so precise.
And when we review Tusk, it's gonna ruin your life.
I know
No,
it's gonna
we're
ruin my
not-
life. I
Okay.
really want to do it because it's like a thing that really icks me.
Also, we have to. I'm a Kevin Smith fanboy. We are going to review every Kevin Smith movie.
I think the surgical
Tusk
thing
is a-
really gets me because I can't do Tusk or Human Centipede either.
Yeah, like it's just like that.
Human
Like the
Centipede-
surgical aspect of it is like
Yeah.
ugh.
The issue with Human Centipedes, it's not even like an engaging piece of cinema.
No,
Like,
it's not.
It's
It's just
literally
gross.
just he eats poop and then she eats pooped poop and then he shits it out. Like that's the idea. It's just fucking disgusting body horror. Tusk, on the other hand, is
No.
amazing.
Gross.
Yeah.
But no, I get that too. Like whenever I see like specifically like surgical horror.
Yes, exactly.
Like somebody wakes up with like a different arm or some shit, you're like, fuck me, get that,
that
shit out of
shit's
here.
scary.
Oh god.
I'm
So did you have anything you wanted to add about your experience with Paranormal Activity at all?
yeah. I was gonna say what kind of horror scares me. And then
Oh, what kind of horror
Yeah,
scares
get
you?
to it. Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. People living in the walls and shit. If you like listen to our earlier podcast, You might know that.
I'm face palming so hard right now.
Parasite for Bridget was quite a time.
It was quite a time. I've watched it twice. It's been a time both times. But my experience with this movie was like, my parents and I stayed up one Friday night and like we watched it together, and it was a really like bonding moment. We always like watch horror things, like especially ghost stuff. We used to just like on Friday nights or Saturday nights, we'd like stay up late and pop popcorn and watch like ghost
That's really
That is
cute.
some
stories.
wholesome ass shit.
I was like not a horror movie child.
I
Like
was.
the first horror movie I really remember like
The
watching.
first horror, I'm sorry.
The first horror movie I
First
really
horror
remember
thing I ever did.
like watching and enjoying. I was probably like 12.
Same.
Watching Disturbia with a young Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, the Rear Window.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so good.
It's really, I really like that movie
It still
still.
was pretty good actually.
But I just like couldn't do horror stuff when I was like a kid. Like I remember watching a Goosebumps one time and I had like nightmares. It was terrible.
My brother made me watch Rob Zombie's Halloween in 5th grade.
Nice.
Let's just say that every horror movie after that was fucking cake. So
Yeah.
not scary at all. And it got me super obsessed with that series too.
Yeah,
But
it would.
So I don't know if that's a good sign for horror movies or bad, like if it's good for kids or not, but like I became obsessed with Halloween not long after. Don't get me wrong, I cried and had nightmares, but
Right.
still, it did happen. So Paranormal Activity.
But I want to say though, because I never had that like much of a horror, and like even when I was an older kid, I didn't really like, even after I watched Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. Is everything okay?
Yeah, she was scratching.
I was fidgeting
And you could hear
we
it.
could hear it.
on there.
Oh, I see. But like I never really watched horror movies, and so I did not watch Paranormal Activity until we all four watched
That
it
blows
together.
my mind.
Like 2
I was
weeks
Yeah.
so
ago.
excited to
it was
show
so
you.
like it was so like present in my childhood. Like
Yeah, it was not.
Right,
It was I just
same.
never
sleepover
saw
movie.
it.
I remember I was such a Paranormal Activity when I was in my film class in high school. I was such a PA apologist. Like everybody was always like, "Yeah, sure," because the movie only cost $15,000 to make, so it's like an indie like masterpiece in that way.
Right.
It cost $15,000 to make, and it's one of the most impressive horror movies out there. I mean, like Steven Spielberg said it's one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Ebert gave it a 4 out of 4.
And it made like hella money.
It made so much money. And the way they toured the movie too is they didn't have enough to go wide release, so they'd take it to college towns and then post it on YouTube, the people's reaction in those college towns, and ask if you want to see it, ask for it in your town. So that's how they toured the movie for a whole year.
Yeah, that's
just
really
people
cool.
requesting it to be at their cinema.
They still show the like Paranormal Activity commercials like that. Like
The
they show the
reactions.
reactions.
They refuse to do spoilers in the trailer.
which I like.
I
that.
love.
And there's a new one coming in 2021 as well, so that's going to be
crazy.
really exciting.
That's really exciting. Yeah.
But yeah, it was really weird because like I feel like Paranormal Activity is something that like everyone has seen and I just never
Yeah.
had.
Yeah, it's
And-
really like a cornerstone of like the oddies.
It's
you know what
also
I
a
mean?
time
Right.
capsule. Like
Oh yeah, like it's like so. It like the house that they're in
Yeah.
is so like live, laugh,
2007,
love
yeah.
in 2007.
I was literally gonna say, like, it's live, laugh, love. It's got like the decorative like peppers in the jar, and the fat
Peppers.
chef. You know, like the
Yeah,
fat chef
yeah,
in the kitchen.
yeah, exactly.
The Italian one rolling a meatball and shit.
Yeah, and he's got a rolling pin.
Like all
like,
of it looks like you got it from like Burlington Coat
and like
Factory.
the
Yeah.
wardrobe.
and like the beige sectional
Yeah.
that they
yeah.
all had. Yeah.
It's so exactly that time.
Everything's like super beige all the time.
period. Yeah.
Like I don't know
Yeah.
why.
There's every concept is closed. There's no open concepts.
correct.
Correct.
All closed concepts. Everything's closed.
I don't know what we were all going through collectively in like the early mid thousands where we were like everything has to be beige right now.
Everything's beige and closed off. Everything.
Oh, it was a time.
Oh God. Yeah. So in regards to Paranormal Activity's cultural significance, since you're talking about like how it was significant to everybody around you but not you,
Yeah.
it really took over the Halloween slot that Saw used to fill. The Saw films used to come out every single year at Halloween. It would kill at the box office. Saw kind of fiddled off a little bit because Paranormal Activity picked up with so much popularity, and before you knew it, every single Halloween it was, let's go see the Paranormal Activity movie.
Right.
And because of that, I feel like some of the quality towards the middle of the series kind of fell off a little bit. But this film, I mean, it is quite terrifying and stands on its
Yeah.
own
Yeah, it
really,
really is.
fucking
Yeah,
well.
and like that's my thing because it was like so much like everybody like knew what it was and it was such a like everybody had seen it. I didn't think it was gonna be like scary.
Yeah.
But I was like actually sitting there like spooked.
I remember you going, "Oh my god!" At one point, I was like, "Yes,
I just
it's
remember.
working."
And I was like sitting there in the chair that we don't even have anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
Wow, that chair's been with me through so much.
Yeah.
But
And
I was
us
like,
too. Yeah.
I know, I was like sitting in the chair and I was like gripping the little edges of the because it's like a recliner and I was like, oh my god.
It was a recliner from 1993 that
Yep.
And it
93.
served
it
me
was
so
a
well.
motor powered recliner
It was
that
one
we
of
got
the
at
first
Goodwill.
powered recliners. Yeah.
But I just remember
Like
when-
I've had a whole breakdown in that recliner
Right?
and like
Yeah, you have for sure. It's all good though.
yeah, I've had a whole like drug induced spiral.
when we
in
were
that very
when we
chair.
were watching Paranormal Activity, we had to keep getting on Bridget about being like, "Oh my god, I remember this so
Oh my
vividly."
god! Yeah.
Right before
Actually,
something bad
let's
was about
have this
to happen.
argument right now, Bridget. If you do that during the next two movies, I will have to remove
I've
you
never
from the room.
seen.
She was spoiling it so hard for Madison.
And
It was hilarious.
Like it's the film geek in me where I'm like, yes, Bridget's just excited, and that's how she
I
shows
know.
it.
But
I'm
was
such
cute.
a fucking purist. I'm like, you're giving things away. And I realize now I overreacted. But still, I was like in the moment, I was like, but Bridget hasn't seen, or Madison hasn't seen this, Bridget. We can't do this. And then right before something good would happen, Bridget would be like, oh my God, I still remember this. I'm like,
right? Like you wouldn't let the anticipation grow.
but it didn't matter.
But no, it didn't. It
Because the
literally
movie's
didn't
so
matter
good,
because
it
I was,
fucks
like,
Madison
sitting
up
there.
regardless.
It was so funny. It was honestly
so
just
good.
funny because like I could like see it in Logan's face that he was worried about Madison's like experience getting ruined by it,
And I was just sitting there, like-
you were just sitting there scared, and Bridget was sitting there oblivious.
Yeah.
I was having a time.
Yeah, 'cause you were also fucked up at the time. Like
I
literally.
was?
Yeah, you were drunk or something. Yeah.
I think you may have done an edible.
No, that was.
No, you were drunk. She was drunk from Lubinos.
Oh yeah.
right.
I was
She
drinking
was
White
drunk.
Russians.
That was when I was like real fucked up.
Yeah.
And I
remember
had been
coming
drinking
back
a
into
little
that and
bit,
being
but I
like,
had
cool.
to drive. I
Yeah.
remember this now.
But I distinctly remember like you were so zoned into the movie that at one point Bridget was legitimately trying to talk to you about something, and you were like 5 minutes like what? So I think it's fair to say that she didn't spoil shit.
No,
because
she didn't.
You were
I was, like,
zoned
in
the
it.
fuck in.
I know, it was just so funny. It was such a like moment that showed all your guys' like
Personalities.
I love to just like get so in deep in a movie.
Yeah, dude.
I love to just like let it like just like sit in my little chair and just let it like swallow me up.
And this movie does such a good job because, for one, it revived found footage 1,000%. Like, found footage was kind of
yeah.
popular, especially from Blair Witch, but it's kind of teetering off in like 2004, 2005, and then 2007 comes around. We're like, Paranormal Activity, here the fuck we go.
I love the found footage in this movie. I love the like still camera.
Yes,
That's something I
absolutely.
really really like. Because I am a known and professed hater of shaky cam.
Yes.
And so many times found footage like
the
falls
shaky cam.
into the like the shaky cam thing as opposed to like doing actually interesting like camera things, or like because like a lot of times they use shaky cam to build tension and hide something that's happening in front of the character, but like the camera's moving until you can't see it. And like this movie doesn't do that, and it just like keeps the camera static, but then like you have to really look to catch the things.
I think the only time shaky cam works is, and obviously you're going to argue against because you hate all forms.
I mean, sometimes
That's-
I can like allow it working,
Like,
and like having a place in what's happening, but I just don't like it. I just find it distracting more than anything, and I just rather not be there. But I can allow for it to happen because I like understand that sometimes it needs to.
for me, it works great with an action scene that is built into a gritty world. Like, for instance, if you look at something like, even though this is a terrible example of a good action film, Crank, all the shaky cam in Crank works because the whole movie is like on adrenaline, or like Red State in the scene where he's running through the church. Just because the whole film was so grounded in like a gritty, like still cam that when it was shaky, it was like, whoa, this is really this is a serious moment. But the other thing I was talking about, the realism with the movie, is that they wanted the actors to come off so genuine that they had them use their actual names as the performers. So
Yeah.
it's the real actors' names. So they never,
And these aren't people
We're-
who had really done a lot of like
No.
acting before.
not at all.
They were
She-
definitely.
What's her
newbies.
face was in the director's college rendition of Into the Woods. That was the only thing she had acted in at the time.
Wow.
She
Katie?
kills it. Yeah, she kills
Wow.
it for a whole series. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's really incredible, actually.
She really is.
Even though I feel like she looks too much like Katy Perry to have also the name Katy, but that's fine.
I don't really think she looks like Katy Perry, but that's fine.
Not even a little bit.
I don't really see it.
I can see it. But not
I
so
don't
much
really
that
see it, but
she's not allowed to be named Katie. I'm not going to take away the name from her.
But yeah, I really like the shots, like the time. What do you call it? The
time lapse.
The time lapse shots. Those are really cool.
I just want to sit down with that guy and ask him, because like let's say 3 hours actually passed, right?
Right.
And they had the camera on somebody standing still for 3 hours. It would not look anything like that. It would look fucking crazy and jumpy. Yeah. Like, you can't fast forward 3 hours and have it look like somebody standing there waving back and forth. So I want to know what amount of time they did fast forward, how they made it look so casual with the clock, because it isn't exact. Like, somebody had to sit there and video technique that for hours. And it's so striking.
Yeah, it's like
it
so
really
good.
is.
The time lapse stuff is so good. And like it's so good because you are getting to see everything that's happening, and you're not like skipping time. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. You're just doing time fast. And it's also really cool because what I really like about this movie we can get into it later, but I think that like the second, like the subsequent sequels kind of lose, especially like as they go on. I think they lose this, is that like in this first movie, there are just like stretches of time when nothing is happening and it's terrifying.
Absolutely, because we're so on the edge with them and the whole time,
right? Because like
it doesn't feel that long, but really not a lot happens.
The thing that makes a scary movie scary is not like the actual scary thing; it's the anticipation of the scary thing, and then the thing appearing is just like the adrenaline coming out of you finally having it.
It's a catch-22 though, because if they want to make a sequel, they can't do the same thing they did before.
Right.
Now, they could have more lapses of time, but the thing is you have to up the ante with the scares, because nobody's going to sit through the same movie 3 times. Yeah. So I get what they were trying to do. I just feel like the next one we're going to talk about, I don't want to get into spoilers, that one did it so wrong. Whereas I feel like the third one did it a lot better.
Yeah, it just it just lacks... Yeah, it just lacks those like long stretches of time that are like really terrifying, because you like keep expecting something to happen, and then like it's almost worse because nothing does happen, and so you're still just like you have this leftover tension, and it's really cool, and like it's really cool to have that and not get the payoff from it, but then to get that payoff later, if that makes sense.
It kind of is like the first movie really feels like it's actual found footage, like you fucking found this whole ass footage, whereas the other movies.
It's a found footage movie.
Marked ones aside, they feel like they're supposed to be, entertaining in our actual horror films. Like a good example is if you ever have seen Marble Hornets on YouTube, it's a student shot YouTube series about Slender Man. The first 30 episodes are actually really cool, and I know the guy who worked on it got a real directing job afterwards. And then the 30 following are really terrible, and it's because they lose that founding footage feel.
Yeah, and that's kind of because the first movie has such tension in it, and it's really good and it's really cool. And then I don't think that there's any way that they could have hung on to it, but the subsequent movies, at least the 3 subsequent movies that I've seen, they just lost the magic a little bit.
I don't want to tell you how they could have, because I think they did, but I don't want to tell you how they did it.
What do you mean?
I think that there was a moment of rediscovery in the series.
And I think that the which is the one? I'm just trying to think which is the one
from the 80s.
Yeah, when the girls are younger. Is that 3?
That's 3. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think that 3 kind of gets it back.
Yeah, and then 4 completely drops the ball entirely.
Guys, don't do the whole series in one episode.
Oh,
I know.
Right.
No, but I think in 2 they kind of lose it a little bit, and it just isn't quite the same.
We'll get to 2 because I have big thoughts on that. Let's circle back around to 1 for a
second. but 1 has this thing that I don't think any of the others fully recapture, but 3 does a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that we'll get into it. I think it's this sort of series of us talking about it goes on, but I think what they try to do in 2, as we'll talk about, is have more scares, which what they really need to do is, as opposed to having more, they need to have innovative scares, and that's what they do in 3.
Yeah, I'll
And
get to my
again,
thoughts
we'll
on that.
talk about all that.
I got big thoughts on what you just said, but I'll wait on
Are
that.
they thoughts that I'm right?
Wait on it. Do not do the
We'll
whole
get there.
series in one episode.
So, let's talk about some of the performances because we mentioned Katie for a second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So good.
Mika.
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 Which is terrible. I've never known anyone named Mika. I've known plenty of
Mikas,
Mikas
yeah.
in my life,
Yeah, I
but never a
agree.
Mika.
So Mika is effectively the most frustrating character in the
I
series.
hate him.
And here's the thing, the fan base is well aware of that. And I actually think this is one of the detriments of the film. You have to make a character that is believably bad. Like, this character is such an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, such a fucking asshole. There's no way he exists.
Right.
There has to be a
There's
moment.
no way she wouldn't just leave his ass with the way he's acting.
There wouldn't be a
too.
way that a man, woman, alien, tiger would operate this way. No people act as this man
He just
does.
like he shows her no compassion.
He shows himself no sense.
Yeah.
You know that crazy
Yeah.
shit's going on. You're like, let me get a Luigi board up in here. It's like that one comment said about you messing around with the Weggy board. Like, what do you expect?
Correct. and like
And his whole like caveat, like we were talking about, where he's like, "I didn't buy a Ouija board."
like what a fucking asshole.
Like he's
Like-
twirling his fucking mustache as he's saying it. It's
Like
ridiculous.
he like
Like,
feels
she's
so
clearly
clever. Like he
freaked
found
out.
himself a little loophole. Like you're such an asshole. She asked you not to do that.
And we were talking about this when we were watching, but every Paranormal Activity has a moment where the guy's like, "Show me your boobs in front of this camera."
Hey, now let's calm down here. The dad in 2 was not that bad about that, but
No, but he did have a moment.
Let's-
but Mika was like actually shitty about it.
let's also point out the fact that no one was as bad as Mika in any of the rest
Correct.
of these films.
No,
I think they learned from their mistake. They're like, ooh.
Well, it's not the guy didn't do any more after 1. He produced some, but he went on to do other stuff that he wanted to do.
He was in 2 a little bit.
No, I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about the writer director.
Oh, I think you're talking about the actor playing Mika. I was like, he was in 2 a little bit.
No. A lot of times these characters, especially Katie, like they pop in and out of this series all the time.
Yeah.
Man, I just there was something that was clearly the student film aspect of the movie because the rest of it is like, oh my god, the scares are so good, the technical work, the cinematography in a found footage film. There were shots in this movie that were interesting to look at when things weren't happening because they had to be because not a lot was happening. You know, they had to build the tension, but they also had to
and
make
like
shit
and
look
it's really
scary.
cool because like you're looking in those shots for something to be happening, and then like you're kind of looking at it and you think you see something, but you're like, did I really see it? And it's really fun because you get to like, I don't know, like it's like it's another level of scary because you're like, am I seeing things or did something really happen in there? Like what's going on?
It felt like the filmmakers took the time to be like, yes, there are going to be moments where they're looking in the shadows. Let's show off our physical ability. This movie feels like a tryout to be a great filmmaker that accidentally turned into a great film.
Right.
Because there's tons of amateur moments too, especially with the actor who was like the priest or whatever, or like the witch doctor guy. What was he again?
He was like the medium.
He was fucking a horrific actor.
He was not great.
when he came back, he's like, "Oh no,
Oh no. he was like, I gotta get out of here.
Reggie." He literally walked in like spooked. He was like, "Oh no, it's so scary in here." And the thing is, there's a way to act that. Nope, he did not do it. No.
Yeah, I mean,
He just made me laugh out loud, and he made you guys laugh too. And you had never even seen it before, and you were laughing.
yeah.
It was just a bad
And I mean that's
performance.
like how kind of Mika is. It just like makes you want to yell at him and laugh at him because he's like not a person.
No, he's over
just
the top.
He's just a human piece of garbage. He's a trash bag that grew legs.
He reminds me when we were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, or like the second one. I still know what you did last summer,
Bitch, I
right?
ain't never gonna forget what you did last summer.
Is it? I still know.
Hey, remember
the
last
sister,
summer?
the bitchy sister?
No, the bitch sisters. I know.
Okay, she's the first one. The bitchy sister of Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, like how she was just over the top bitchy for really no reason. Like that's just how Mika feels like. You know, just a too extra character that they really could have toned down and made somebody real.
The positive though with Mika's character, and this is to kind of go against myself, I guess, with this argument, is when there was tense moments, he put them in such compromising positions.
Oh my god, yeah.
That it became that much more tense when he's climbing up the ladder to the attic.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my
You're
god.
literally like, fuck me, god damn it, why are you doing this, you fucking bitch?
He
If
is
he
the
was, like-
quintessential. You want to yell at him for going in the room.
If he was a reasonable character, He wouldn't have climbed up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I get it because, like, you kind of need somebody in a movie like this to, like, be a little bit more skeptical.
Yeah.
100% the antagonist. Like, when he was literally, like, instigating the ghost, too.
Yeah.
And he was trying to be like a man about it, like, you're gonna mess with my lady.
I was gonna say, like,
okay.
and not to be offensive to the man in the room in the audience, but isn't that just like a man?
Okay,
Yes.
I could 2007 maybe.
Like, well, I mean, just because, like, you know, I think this movie has something really interesting about it, where it's like how women's like very legitimate fears,
Yeah.
are like, you know, mocked and like not believed,
Just gaslighted.
And
Yeah,
you
and
know,
like
this is a very women power centric horror
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
Until later on, I think that they make a mistake in that regard. But for the most part, this movie is about like the idea of like the evil female character, but as well as like the misunderstood and or ignored female fears and emotions.
Yeah.
It's a really women-centric horror series, which is pretty cool.
and I mean, and I think like I think it happens in real life. It's like women's fears and concerns are seen as like not real or hysterical, or like women are emotional.
But also the evil passes of women that some women have, or
Yeah.
that is totally ignored, and in this series it's not. I mean, some of the worst antagonists in the series are women.
Right.
In fact, I think most of them, if not all of them, are, unless you want to count Micah as an
Mika's
antagonist.
an antagonist for sure. He
I guess that's
antagonizes
true.
me as an
But
audience
but
member.
he is ultimately a victim as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And but then you have that moment where like she finally like gets Mika's ass, and you're like, yes, good for her, bitch.
I didn't feel that way, but that's
I
okay.
felt that way.
I just thought, oh no, someone's dead now.
I was like, good for her.
I love that.
But
Yeah, like that death was the only happy death in the whole Paranormal Activity
Yeah, it's
series.
like finally,
Really?
thank God.
You think it's the only happy one?
Well, I mean, I haven't rewatched the other ones, and I really didn't watch the other ones. Like, I really watched like 1, 2, and 3 as a kid. I didn't really. Yeah.
I thought that well, I don't know. I guess you got a good point.
But we did not do the whole.
Yeah, we're doing it again. I know.
One podcast.
It's so
it's hard not
so
to talk
easy
about
to
all
talk
of them
about
though,
them, yeah.
because
I'm glad we didn't watch 5 and 6 because I feel like this conversation would be totally different.
yeah,
I'm saying it right now. I think your entire perspective would be different,
that's fair.
which is gonna be cool when we watch it because then we can listen
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like another positive with this movie is that we're introduced to their obsession with crafting necklaces and jewelry.
Yeah.
Which is echoed throughout the entire series for some reason.
For whatever reason, that's like a real sticking point.
I really like how this series doesn't start at the top. Like, it kind of like.
Yeah,
I like the starting point it chose.
I know that was done out of necessity.
Yeah.
But it is cool.
It's
that
a good starting point.
And if fun fact, before the film got its full release,
Yeah.
they were already started on 2 because such a good response had come that financiers were like, all right, here we go. Let's put all the money
I
into
do
this.
wonder if they had thought really of the sequel at the time, or
it is apparently factual that 1 and 2 always were meant to exist. That is what's been
okay. That
confirmed.
makes sense. That seems about right to me.
I like how since they did that first, I like how Mika's death becomes like a placeholder in like what time you're in.
But it confuses me. It makes me feel like he wasn't fully dedicated to the story because there's alternate endings to Paranormal Activity.
which I don't like.
I love.
I forgot about that.
I never watched any of them.
There's an alternate one where she sits in the room after she kills Micah and waits there for days, and the police come and get her, and she goes to attack one, and they shoot her. And it's a
I've seen that
it's a
one.
really
yeah, but
cool.
then she couldn't have taken the.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they shot the movie, and he's like, I'm gonna have these alternate endings for financiers
Yeah.
and stuff. And if I can't make another movie, I want this movie to end fucking epic because the way it ends
Yeah.
as it isn't very epic. She does
Isn't there an ending where she like kills herself too?
yes.
I thought so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't like the ending as it is because, well, everything is good except for when she attacks the camera. That is the single worst looking attack of a camera
Yeah, I don't
I've
like
ever
that.
seen in my whole life. But other than that,
But it does kind of get you though.
It's
It's,
just
a
a-
scare.
wouldn't it have been
It's just a
so
cheap
much
shot.
crazier if you had just seen her like stand there for a while with the time lapse and then she just like walks downstairs?
Yeah.
Because then you're like, where the fuck's that bitch going?
Right.
Instead, she had a
Right.
camera for lunch and then went and stole her nephew.
Which like it's just like a
Yeah.
it's like a cheap ending. Like attacking
Yeah,
the
but
camera.
then again, we're talking about a brand new shiny filmmaker, you know?
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense, and that's the kind of ending that like sells your sequel.
For sure, yeah. I think that the Micah throwing scene is going to go down in horror history as one of the greatest jump scares of all time.
It's such a good scene.
It really is.
Also, the scene where she is like dragged out of bed. That's such a good scene.
Oh yeah, they repeat that. They juice that fucking scene.
I know
We're gonna put that in every damn movie. You hear me?
And you know what? And it's good too.
We're picking up a baby. We're dragging a baby. We're dragging an adult. We're dragging.
What can we drag?
Yeah.
Can you be dragged? Let's drag you.
What's that? Turn on that remote control car and then drag it.
But yeah, that's a good scene, and like especially towards the end of this movie, like the scares are so good.
They really are. They like you get the payoff for a lot of the
For all the
tension.
time you spent waiting,
right? And like
for something to happen. Yeah, I mean, because like you really get like you spend a lot of time waiting for something to happen, and then suddenly everything's happening.
right? And that scene with the like flower, I remember that from my childhood.
Oh, the baby powder or
with
whatever
the baby
it was.
powder,
Yeah,
flower, whatever. Where you see the fucking feet. Ooh,
she said, "Ooh."
ooh.
That was done. No, I'm talking about the sequels again. We'll get to it.
That was in the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I was thinking about a scene when they did it better, which was PA3 for sure. When after the tornado, sorry, not the tornado, the earthquake, and then the dust from the ceiling falls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the better version of that scare, I think. But that's good. They should improve. Let me see here. Some of the issues with the movie, though, I also think would be like the long, like, okay, so in the sequel, you see that they're going over to other people's houses and stuff. I feel like there wasn't enough human interaction going on. I mean, you got to think about the fact that there's people screaming bloody fucking murder at the top of their lungs. No police, no friends, no nothing.
Right.
Are you okay, Franny? Yeah. You look possessed by Toby.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just processing.
So yeah, this is not a perfect movie, but I think that it's so fucking iconic that it has to go down as one of the best horror movies ever.
I mean, and it also like you can see how much horror movies that we have now are like, or maybe not now. I think we're kind of in like a new phase with our horror movies.
Oh, but they totally cherry pick. They take certain things from the movie.
Right.
Right.
But I think especially of like the teens, like the 20 teens. Like I'm specifically thinking of like maybe
The Gallows?
20. Yeah, The Gallows is one. We were just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Like movies like that, those like kind of bad horror movies that we had in the teens. Really get a lot from this, like, and from the series, I think as a whole, like they get a lot from this. And I think the found footage that we have right now, or we have less found footage right now. I think we're kind of in a lull for our found footage.
I think that VHS though and Creep and all these other movies.
Yeah.
They don't happen
we watched Creep the other day. That shit was so good.
I told you it was good.
I know. She wouldn't listen to me for like the longest time.
I was like
Creep.
scared too. We watched it and it was just me and Bridget in the house.
Wait till that sequel, dude.
Oh, I know.
Dun, dun. Dun, dun. It's actually pretty scary.
It is. It is pretty scary.
But no, that shit freaked me out.
Yeah, no,
Not gonna lie.
It's super good.
That was when we had botched 4th of July plans.
Oh no, yeah,
I couldn't even.
We were gonna watch more of these.
I couldn't even get that sentence out of my mouth. Bob's 4th of July.
When we got the blub and the fortune of blah.
It took a lot of convincing to get her to watch Creep too.
I mean,
a lot of convincing.
It was just like you had to be in the mood for it,
Yeah. Also, it does not look good when you see like the ads, like the promotional stuff. The art.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like it
kind of
looks
like a May or a Rubber or a Chillerama. It doesn't look that good.
But that shit was scary. I like that shit
it was
a lot.
so good.
Guys, like and comment if you think we should review Chillerama, by the way.
No, also like and comment because I've been trying to convince them all to review VHS.
Which one? There's 3.
Oh, yes.
I've never seen VHS.
VHS had way more of an impact on my youth than...
You've never seen it?
No.
All right.
This is surprise you that I haven't.
We got to go watch VHS.
The opening...
You haven't?
No.
Neither of you guys have seen it.
I was telling you, like, I haven't seen really a lot of, like, those staple horror movies of, like, our generation.
I don't want to sell it right now because we're in the middle of Paranormal Activity. What else is there to say about PA? The thing is, it's kind of ubiquitous at this point. Like, it's just sort of this magical...
especially this one.
Untouchable horror movie.
And especially, like... thinking again about that like dragging out of bed scene. That has been like memed so much too.
Oh yeah, for
That
sure.
It really
but, like,
has.
and so and so I knew. You okay?
No, yeah, I was just thinking of something.
Oh, okay. You said God and then like leaned
I was
over in
gonna
your
say
chair,
it,
and I
but
was
then
like,
I
"You
realized I
good?"
didn't know what it was called, so I'm doing a quick Google. But continue.
But yeah, so like when that happened, I wasn't expecting it to be scary because it was such a meme, but then it was, and that's like
It's like when Bridget heard Mad World play at the end of Donnie Darko. She
Right.
thinks it's just a meme, but it wasn't always a meme.
it wasn't a meme then.
No,
I mean, it was good.
Same with the PA stuff. I remember I saw Landon. I know you're listening to this. We saw Paranormal Activity together, and he was grabbing me the whole time, screaming.
cute.
And he was a big kid. Like, he was like the tallest kid in our grade. He looked like Sasquatch. He was like the big hairy boy, and he's just crying and screaming and
That's
jumping
really
onto me the whole
cute.
time. It was such a good experience. And then we went and saw it again. Like, that's how good it was. And he's not a movie guy. We went and saw it a second fucking time.
Every time I watch a horror movie with my mom, like that we've never seen, she smacks me whenever something scary happens.
What?
It's just like a
Really?
It's just like a
My mom does that same too.
no, but it's not a pat. It's like a hard smack. But it's like, but she's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Did you guys see the Paranormal Activity spoof movie?
Whoa,
A haunted house.
Oh, there's so many.
A haunted house with Cedric the Entertainer.
Yes, I've seen it. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
I
was just thinking about it.
What was that one we found at the pawn shop?
God, it was like fuck. I'm trying to find it.
It's real. It looks so bad. I kind of want to review it for like Patreon content or something. The title, the cover had Abraham Lincoln in the Paranormal Activity bed. That's all I remember.
Oh God.
It looks terrible.
I'm finding it. 30 Nights of Paranormal Activity with the devil inside the girl with the
Dragon tattoo.
dragon tattoo. Yeah.
dude.
Oh my god.
It looks so awful. I got
That
the
sounds
Blu-ray
terrible.
for $2.
Yeah.
hate
Yeah.
that.
It's a lot. It was directed by Craig Moss.
I feel like that's how you really know that a movie has like a profound cultural impact.
When it's got Scary Movie 5, 2 haunted house spoof movies, and multiple other spoof movies about it.
yeah, I mean, I think that's how you know when something has like cultural impact when it has a spoof movie.
I almost disagree. I think the reason why everybody keeps spoofing it is because the movie cost $15,000 to make, so anybody can go make it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like when you think about movies like Scream, we have Scary Movie. You know what I mean? Or
Twilight.
like we have Vampire
I was literally
Suck.
just thinking about. I saw
I
that at
never
the
saw it.
drive-in as a kid. It was
Was it
great.
I
good?
remember Vampire Suck.
was-
I had that movie.
fun.
It was a good time at the time.
I watched when I was working at Family Video. I watched the Vin Diesel super fast cars, blah blah blah. It
Fast and the Furious.
yeah, but it was like a parody one, like a spoof.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was really bad.
or I mean, like 50 Shades of Grey had a spoof that was probably pretty dumb, but like
I watched some of it with your sister.
50 Shades of Black, right?
I think it is.
It was.
Yeah, those
I had to-
Wayne
I had to
brothers, they
walk
don't
out.
give
It
a shit.
shouldn't exist.
They just poop out whatever movie they
they
want.
can just do what they want.
Right.
Good for them.
Like,
I wish that could be me.
Yeah, dude, it'd be lit if we could make a Paranormal Activity like parody. I'd love that. Why
I
is
would
everybody
love
getting so
that too.
quiet? What is this?
Franny
I
was
was-
like gas. Franny was like,
I guessed because I was thinking I had an idea for the thumbnail.
the thumbnail that you're seeing right now.
Yeah,
it
the
was
one-
born in this moment.
No, they're
Yeah.
always made beforehand.
There's gonna be I have a good idea.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
we'll probably do it.
tie a little string around your
We have
finger
to.
so you remember.
I will.
No,
I will.
she'll remember.
Franny's like rocking back and forth.
You literally went like straight Exorcist after you figured it
I
out.
have an idea. I have an idea.
Okay,
That's what we should do. We should do The Exorcist.
my dad
never seen it.
has
I've
a great
seen it.
story about that. I'd love to tell it,
I would love to hear it,
but I'm going to say
but not right now.
if we do it.
But yeah, should we rate this movie? Or are we like at a point where we're ready to
Yeah,
do it?
and-
I think we've.
We're
Yeah.
also going to
Get
do
into
a collective scores thing with this, and we'll figure out what we also consider.
Oh, so we're gonna do out of 10 for this?
If I think that'd be best.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can do
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense to me.
Okay.
All right. So who wants to go first?
I'm gonna give it 6 spooks out of 10.
Wow, that's low.
That's
I'm
pretty
sorry,
low.
not 6. I thought 9, but my brain turned it upside down. It was 6.
Wow, you're easily pressured. You went from a 6 to a 9. with
It
one
No,
really-
I
look.
really was. I was going for a 9, but
I was just
my
like
brain turned
surprised.
it
I was like ready to
down.
accept it. I just was like waiting for the explanation
I'm
of
just
why
like,
it was
damn,
6
those
out of
other
10.
movies are gonna go in the fucking toilet. Then if this one's
Okay,
a
so
6.
you give it a 9?
I do give it a 9, yeah. I swear it wasn't pressured. I just had an edible earlier, so.
I give it a
Brain
9 out
melt.
of 10, and it only isn't a 10 out of 10 because fuck Mika.
I agree. Seconded.
Who's going first? Okay. Paper, scissors, shoot. I lost. I went with paper. He said scissors. I'm gonna give it a. I don't want to mess it up too much by doing decimals.
You can do decimals because it'll still work out.
What kind of like 1 decimal place is that we're gonna be the cutoff?
I mean,
yeah. Why would you go any farther? What the hell are you looking for?
I don't know.
Like
only
0.5 increments.
Oh, I can only go 0.5. I can do like a 0.8.
Yeah. What the hell else? How deep are we getting with this shit?
I don't know. I gotta think.
You're forbidden from doing anything but a 0.5.
How
It's just too
incrementally different
difficult.
are you going to get? Is one like an 8.8 and the other one's an 8.7? I don't understand. At that point,
you're just splitting hairs.
They're the same fucking thing. Bless you.
Bless you.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Cool.
Wow, no decimal even.
I was gonna give it a 7.8, but you said I couldn't do
You
that.
cannot. That's ridiculous.
That is
I love it. I'm for you giving it a 7.8, babe.
Fine, I give it an 8.
Mine's also an 8.
Okay. Okay, let me put that in the calculator real quick.
I wonder
Let me
if you can
fire
do
her up.
Are you
Where's
making
my
an
calculator?
ASMR?
Bridget, what are you doing?
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear that.
Unfortunately.
Subscribe for more ASMR.
Yeah, that's right, guys. We are professional podcasters.
Okay, so I give it an 8. Logan gives it an 8. Bridget gives it a 9. What did you give it, Franny?
A 9.
A 9 also? That's what I thought. Divided by 4. 8.5.
8.5.
That's what we give the first one.
Woo!
All right, guys. So we're going to take a quick pause. An ad will play, and then we will get back into part 2.
Oh, and we have a shout out as well.
Fuck me. I almost forgot about that.
How
You
could we do
cannot
that?
forget about a shout out.
Should we do it right now?
You're putting me on the spot. I wanted to say
We don't
something
have to do
special.
it. We don't have to do it right now. We can do it when we come back.
I don't want to waste it.
Okay, do it then. Do it.
We can just
Pause.
Oh, we're pausing. Okay.
pause.
This week's episode of the Crosscut Cinema podcast is sponsored by Street Stains.
So, what if every time you like spilled your popcorn or soda on your shirt, it just kind of like blended in?
Street Stains is a hella original clothing brand that allows you to wear your stains with pride. Shop www.streetstains.com for art and apparel.
You can use the coupon code BOO loves you, BOO loves you, for 15% off site-wide. Again, thank you so much to our friends at Street Stains for sponsoring this episode. You can check them out on Instagram at street_stains.
Thank you.
We're back. Paranormal Activity.
Those.
Two Paranormal 2 Activity.
Second one, which was before the first one.
Paranormal Activity Tokyo Drift.
2 Paranormal 2 Activity.
I already said that.
Fuck!
Oats.
Oats. Yeah, oats. Speaking of oats, unrelated.
Speaking of oats.
I don't really know how to do this because I've never had a person be like, I want you to talk to me. Talk to me. It's always been the other way around where people are like, please don't talk to me. We have a frequent commenter.
The first 3 weeks we knew each other. Just please don't talk to me.
Literally like such an angry face. And I'm just like, I don't know why she hates me so much. But you didn't hate me.
No.
It was just a guard. It was a shield.
Yeah.
It was a
I just
shield
have a face like that.
From the most overly Christian workplace I've ever been to. And you're like, I
Yeah.
don't need to deal with this. Anyway, we have a frequent commenter, a person that has emailed us suggestions, which by the way, you're welcome. We're doing Mallrats. No, I'm just kidding. That was a lot of people, but you also left that too. Shout out to Bianca, who has also given us a great idea because we're going to start, like I believe Madison just said right before we started recording, we're going to start offering a Patreon tier where people can pay for a shout out. It's like
just a one-time situation.
Yeah.
And they can choose who they want the
Because
shout out from.
we've had people say, I can't donate monthly for whatever reason, but I would pay for a one-time shout out.
Yeah.
And that's something we want to do because we want to say hey to y'all and be stupid on audio and have you keep that forever if you so desire. So yeah, that's the thing.
This is also kind of like living proof to you guys because Bianca is now like our little pen pal. People who want to interact with us, you can just do it. We're very even if you're a very negative viewer, you have a lot of negative things to say,
I would encourage that actually.
We really this is what we consider to be an open dialogue for cinema. We want people to be able to come here and talk about it. We want people to be able to call me and Madison's opinion stupid or smart or whatever they want to call it.
But don't you dare say anything about me or Bridget's opinions.
Correct.
You cannot.
They are angel
Well, they
babies.
haven't been afraid to say it in the past, so I don't know if this is going to change anything.
I don't think it is.
I don't know if we talked about this yet, but somebody did like a little drinking game, and I thought it was the funniest fucking
That was
thing.
Oh,
cute.
it was so
Yeah.
It was no, I loved it
God,
though
we
because
need
it
to-
was
we
how
need to
true
read
was
it.
it?
I need to read it.
I feel real called out in it though.
We're gonna call all of us out.
Well, the
'cause
worst
it's
part is
cross-cut
you're just
drinking
so
game.
nice. You were just like, the
Guys,
reason why
what
you didn't hear
video
me
was
is
it
because I
on?
wasn't there because you're just like the nicest person ever.
I didn't even think
it's
they were
Big
dissing me.
Yeah, but they
I
were
don't
dissing
really
you.
feel like it was a diss.
It was-
It was definitely a diss.
That's a fucking diss.
Okay, hold on.
That's
I don't take it as a
That's
diss.
a Dijonais from Proud Family.
I
diss,
loved
dude.
it. So, okay. I can't pronounce the name.
You don't have to read the name of the commenter.
Okay.
It's just there.
Yeah, it's there.
So,
Big Lebowski video, pinned comment.
Yeah, it's the pinned comment. So they said crosscut cinema drinking game. Madison is a bitch.
That's my favorite thing.
I'm assuming take a shot for each time we do
Or
one of
sip.
these. Or sip.
I would suggest sipping.
Yeah,
Yeah. So number 1, Madison is a bitch. Number 2, Logan talks about Kevin Smith.
Oh, that one really, that's so mean.
It's really not. I really
It's
don't
really
think
not.
this is a diss.
That one's a diss in the film bro community because Kevin Smith is one of those directors that you either fucking hate or you
Yeah,
love.
I mean, I guess it's true, but I don't take this comment as a diss. I think it's like just like a fun
film
like.
teacher once said I don't know anything about movies because I like Dogma. That's a real
Oh,
thing.
God.
So I did
Okay.
an essay on Dogma.
So, and then it says 3, Bridget says nothing.
And that was
It's just
the
because
one
Bridget
that I
is
wasn't
quiet.
or
on.
maybe it literally means the word nothing. I don't know. He didn't. That
No,
wasn't
he
very
meant,
specified.
he meant her being quiet.
Maybe it's not a diss. It's definitely a diss.
It was
then-
definitely a diss.
I don't.
It's totally a diss.
I don't see how it's a diss.
It's a
because
diss. Even if
I'm
it's friendly,
quiet.
it's a friendly diss.
Yeah, I think that's what I take it as, like a friendly little
But,
like.
yeah.
but it was meant to be like,
It was a little jab.
I
Yeah,
got you.
it's like
fun
it's
little
like
jab.
it's like in the way you make fun of your friends.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want us all to be friends.
Yours
here.
is the saltiest, so I guess if you feel it that way.
I don't take it as a diss at all.
mine is pretty
I
salty,
I
alright?
very
We didn't
openly
even
and
get to it
publicly
yet.
say that I'm a bitch on this podcast all the time.
And then
It's different when you say it versus like I can't be like Madison, you're such a bitch because that seems really rude to me, and I don't feel that way. But like, you know what I mean? Like somebody else that you don't even know is gonna sit there and be like, "She's a bitch." Like that bothers me. I don't know.
It
why.
doesn't bother me.
it's a joke, guys.
I
and
think
then,
it's a joke.
And then 4, it says Frani does not listen and laughs hysterically.
Well, that one's just kind of true.
And then
They're all kind of true. That's
Shut
why
up.
it's a funny
Exactly.
joke.
I'm adding number 5 and saying take a shot every time a commenter spells me or Bridget's name wrong.
Oh God, you got a point.
But anyway, all this to say that like if you want to interact with us, even if you want to tell us that we like suck, you can do that.
We will
We'll
want it.
listen.
And Bianca,
Except
I
for-
appreciate the fact that you were willing to pay. And I get that like finances are hard for you, but it's really just cool that you reached out in general. So
Yeah,
thank you
it's
for
really
that.
cool, and that's why we wanted to like say hey.
Yeah,
It's nifty.
but that's our only free one.
Yeah, next
We're a
time.
business now.
Yeah, next time,
corporate.
motherfucker.
Yeah, take that.
Capitalism.
Yeah, hell yeah. Anyway,
All right. All that being said,
yeah. Thank you once again. But Paranormal Activity 2.
I feel like all the houses in Paranormal Activity are such like representative of like American capitalist like suburban dream.
You just wait. It's another thing where you gotta wait and see, buddy.
I mean, like in the first 3, like especially
First four. First 4.
Yeah, first 4 for sure.
First 4, yeah. For
I mean,
real.
like that fucking house is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean they're all just
Yeah.
very like Pier 1 imports, you know?
Yeah, that's so
Rip.
accurate.
I
You know
mean,
what
probably
imports?
like the dingiest house was Mika and Katie's.
And it was still like a fucking
Yeah, it was still like a nice
nice.
house. It was
Yeah.
just very closed concept as we discussed.
yeah, very closed off.
It's a product of its time.
I like this one because it has the good staircase for scary spooky time.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
You know, my opinion on this movie is it's not the worst of the series, but it's the first time because I actually saw them kind of weirdly out of order. I saw 1, then 3, then 2, just because it so happened that way. I feel like it's easily the most disappointing of the trilogy of the first 3.
Why do you think that?
I think this movie gives up on trying to be creative with its shots and just goes, it's a security camera everywhere.
Yeah.
And the stillness of the camera is great and all, but when you have such a wide shot that it looks like I'm watching like JCPenney footage, like it just doesn't work for me. Especially when there's still a manipulated handheld camera. Like, if you're going to commit to a security situation, why not do like a panning shot like in 3? Or why not have it be like in a singular location and just carry in a camera for the rest? I mean, it just felt like, why the fuck are these people using so many goddamn cameras in their house? Because they have all of them at all the entrances, and then they also have handheld ones. And it just feels like a little bit extra for me, especially when there's whole ass recorded areas where they really don't do much.
Yeah, I just feel like in the first movie you have these like static shots with like the camera, but they're visually interesting.
Absolutely.
And then a lot of times these security camera shots just kind of like aren't. It's just like, you know, a white family's home in suburban America.
Also, no, maybe this just happened because we used to work in an escape room. But we always would have to watch several cameras at one time.
Yeah.
And the issue with me is, where the fuck was that shot in this movie, first of all? Because there could have been a multi-camera shot where we have to look for which scene it's happening in. Didn't happen in this film, and it should have. And then the other thing is, there's unnecessary cameras. The kitchen camera is completely covered by the living room camera because you can see everything in the kitchen. Why is there an additional camera?
Yeah, and it would almost be more interesting to see that stuff happening a little further in the background.
Or like I said, like the way that these are recorded, when you go to check this footage, it's going to be several different panels on one screen. Let us see all the panels in action sometimes in the film. You know, like, let us try to figure out in what room is something happening and have it all going at once. You could have multiple things happening in multiple rooms. It'll draw... It gives it something interesting, and the fact is, like, that's what this movie should have been if they were going to have a multi-camera setup like that. It should have been like Five Nights at Freddy's or something, where you got multiple cameras going at once.
That would have been cool.
Instead, you're directing the shots now to where I know when things are going to happen in certain rooms because we're already there.
Right.
So I already know what's going to happen because we're in this room.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, that was what was cool about the first movie is like the camera's in one location until somebody picks it up and moves it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
and then the camera in the third film, not to go too much into it, but they found a creative way to cover the house without it feeling like, okay, because we're in this room, we know what's happening. Because they used the openness of it, the open concept of it, being that like you could see what was happening downstairs via the little girl's living room, or the little girl's bedroom.
Yeah.
Not to go into too much detail, but this film completely acted like every single area in the movie is like a separate apartment or something. Like they very rarely connected between shots. So you knew what was going to happen.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that they could have used less cameras and had more interesting angles, and then like, because I think part of what's scary is stuff happening in the background and like not quite being able to tell what's going on. And it goes back to what I was saying before, where I feel like in this movie they were focused on getting in more scares and having it be more scary at more times and more in your face scares rather than being innovative like the first movie and then to a lesser extent the third movie.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your taste, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that like, you know, the first movie is the most innovative because it sort of reinvented what we were doing with found footage, and the third one is like very inventive on the premise that already exists.
And you can tell the interest level of the second one because we were refusing to talk about it. We're only talking about the third one because essentially this movie has such little to draw from in the positive regard than like the other movies. Like you don't have much to draw from to talk about positive. Like one thing that I liked about the movie is that it had great characters.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that. I was like, in terms of what this movie does do better than like the first one, is that you like the characters a lot more and they all feel more like real people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Whereas like Katie and Mika are there. Katie less than Mika, but both of them really are there not to be like people, but to be like the
Conduits.
people that this thing happens to. Whereas in the second movie, they're much more like persons.
And then the other thing with the second movie, and this is just to show the restraint of the filmmaker, I feel like if the one from the original movie had made this film, it would have been like this. So the stepdaughter, right? If you go to any horror movie or any low budget movie, the instant relationship between a stepmother and a stepdaughter is that they hate each other and they don't like each other, and that's not the relationship that was here, and it made it more
I like
believable.
that a lot.
Yeah, I really
If
like
this
that
was directed
too.
by the first filmmaker, I feel like he would have totally gone that route, made them hate each other, like just kind of went for like the easy shots, because you could have easily made the tension more real by making it a stepdaughter hates stepmother thing. But when things start going down, the two that are actually the closest are actually the stepmother and the stepdaughter.
Right, because
coming
the
for each
father
other.
doesn't quite believe them.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's a choice that really exemplifies all the characters and their motivations.
Yeah.
And it makes all of their decisions following, like even the father's decisions, make so much more sense.
Yeah.
Because if they were just like hating each other and the dad's trying to, he would do anything. But the fact is that they were kind of up against him, like there's something going on, and then he was the denier.
Yeah.
But it was almost plausible because he's like the real kind of like, I guess you could say like the lord of the home or whatever it may be. Like he's the one who's like kind of in charge of this kind of thing, especially since it's actually his daughter. You know, like there's a certain significant relationship more between him and her than the stepmother. So he has more of a say of how they handle these issues. And that's how you kind of draw in why he's so obstinate to the idea that there's some sort of demon or ghost.
Yeah.
Makes it way more believable. Also, that's a really cute dog in that movie.
That is a cute dog in that movie. Yeah.
And the PA movie specifically go out of their way to not kill pets.
Yeah, I really appreciate
I
that
do
about
too.
them.
I just love the nanny slash maid.
Oh, yeah, that's a great character,
Yeah.
too.
It is.
One that was like maybe like a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was super cool that she wasn't just like a crazy witch lady. Like she was like dancing around with the daughter and like singing, and like you could tell they had a real relationship. She was like a nanny.
Yeah.
And then the best part is they did the show and not tell, in the sense that when she was getting kicked out, you were kind of pissed off at the dad. I agree. But also he iterated effectively that she's done this before, and she gives you the vibes that she would be like totally like, you know, how should I put this? Would be totally, you know, stubborn and not stop when he asks her to.
I mean, she was right in the end.
She was right, yeah.
Right.
And then he has to go crawling back to her, like, help me save my wife.
But if she was just the weak witch doctor character, you would assume that she would just stop and like or leave. But she cared enough to stay, even though she knew that.
Right, she came back.
Essentially, the idea is if you were like a normal witchy doctor kind of girl and you didn't have like a real character, the first time they tell you not to do it, you just leave because you're afraid of the demons. She cared enough about the baby and the family to try to stay against the ideas of the father. That's great character building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where the movie falls flat, is everywhere else.
I mean, like, there are some good, like, tense moments. Like, I have to say, the moment when... Or wait, maybe I'm thinking of a different... Did she get locked out of the house in this one?
Yes.
Yeah. The
When, I just wanted to make sure I was thinking of this one and not a different one. But she gets like locked out of the house at one point. Like the door shuts behind her and the baby is just in there alone. And that's like a good
And walking around and
stressed
the
me
fucking
out.
cock of the walk, like
This
coming down the
baby-
steps and shit.
This
yeah,
baby.
like, that's stressful as fuck.
I know when we were watching it, we were talking about like the babies and bathrooms theory. Like
Yes,
everything's
which is real.
scary. Yeah,
It's absolutely real.
happens with the like
The most spectral. You want to say?
if they're just like the babies just see more. Like they are
babies
so
see
sensitive
shit.
to it.
They're the most vulnerable of people.
Yeah.
And then bathrooms are the most vulnerable of
Yeah.
places to get to people.
Uh-huh.
So if you have a baby in a bathroom, that's a ghost hotspot.
Get that kid out of there.
Yeah,
Like
get that kid out of that bathroom.
when we have a kid someday, Logan, if they ever
That kid's
start
never
acting
going
like
to the
that,
bathroom.
like
When
fuck
you're
yeah.
13, bitch, you can use the bathroom. Until then, you got the yard. You hear me?
I swear to God,
Wash your hands with the fucking hose.
this.
Like I think I kept saying like when the kid would be doing shit, either in this one or in like the next subsequent ones, it'd be like that kid's going up for adoption,
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if my kid's ever like, I have an imaginary friend that's an old creepy man. Nope.
That'd be like great. You can talk to him on the way to the orphanage
Yep.
where we're taking you.
I'm not.
But to be
fucking with
fair,
it.
the little kid, he was so young too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he didn't
He's just a
ever
baby.
exemplify like this is my friend.
no,
It was
he
never-
couldn't conceptualize it. He was a
but
baby.
he was like a baby.
He was also
baby.
like scared of it.
right.
He had the
Oh my
natural
God,
reactions
yeah.
of being
And
like
the dog protecting him. Oh
and
my
then-
heart.
And then the dog, because like essentially like it's later. I mean, I won't say the name of the demon, but The dog.
I feel like we've said it already.
We've already said it, yeah.
Toby. Yeah, Toby's bitch ass.
Toby's little bitch ass.
That really takes the wind out of his wings, though. You know what I mean? His name's Toby, like that pussy
Right.
fucking demon Toby.
Like, there was a kid in my, like, elementary school named Toby that everybody thought was, like, the cutest, and he, like, later turned out to be, like, the school, like, pot supplier.
Wow.
Wow.
And he also wasn't so cute.
Ooh,
turn
Toby,
table.
we're sorry.
He's not listening.
What if he was? What if Toby is actually Bianca?
Hi, Toby / Bianca. Fancy
just
meeting
kidding.
you here.
Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, he was like afraid of it the whole time, and I think that is kind of like another restrained character option that I think the director picked well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the later movies, they can't decide whether it's their friend or they're afraid of it. And that's like a genuine issue that I have with the other flicks. It's like they'll have somebody who's like entangled and has an entanglement.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, but with Toby. And it's like a mixed kind of bag, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this kid was just like, get Toby the fuck out of my room. Get him out of here.
Right.
He's like looking in the mirror and she's like, Toby, get your bitch ass out of my room, you fucking asshole. And then when he's picking him up out of the crib and shit, he's like, Toby,
I don't like that
Don't put my
shit.
legs to sleep, dude. Toby, don't wrestle me right now, dude. I can't do this.
It's not time to be wrestling.
Yeah. Don't wrestle me, dude. I'm just trying to catch those Z's, bruh.
And I mean, like, what was I going to say? Something I do like about this movie is that, like, it doesn't give you away too much. Like, it's cool. Like, it gives you a context for the events of the first movie. And it gives you a little bit more information about, like, okay, what is this evil force? What is it want? Like,
And it does,
but it doesn't.
It's the starting point for some inaccuracies, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, kind of frustrates me a little bit about the films in the future. Like, this one kind of gives you just enough to, like, to really, like, it gives you just enough where you're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, I'm cool with that. And like, I like having that context for the first movie of why what's happening is happening. But then sort of as you go deeper, they try to, like, add more lore almost, and it just gets confusing and ceases to make sense.
And this is the first film to do it. I think this one actually have done it one of the worst. They have to re-explain to you the movie because they have to assume that this is your first Paranormal Activity. So they're going to re-explain the whole needs a child, needs this, needs that. What's crazy is this was the film when that was introduced. And I argue it's the worst explanation. She's hanging out with, like, this fuckboy, and they're reading it off of their Mac, and it's just not very believable. Because, like, if you were reading the shit and the shit was happening to you, would you be, like, all like, well, I checked my Wikipedia today, and that seems pretty sound that that's what's happening.
Right. I mean, like,
Wouldn't you be like, oh my fucking God, there's a demon in my house? Like, there was no reaction.
I like the way that it ties into the first movie, but I like that you get a little bit of backstory, but I wish it had almost been delivered differently. Like, I wish it could have come from, like, a character rather than, like, the internet.
Also, could we not be so dumb as to you explaining to us how many days until Micah dies when he shows up on screen? We can figure that out. He's not dead.
No, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. It's a good anchor.
They already gave us the date. That's my argument, is that this film has to treat it like nobody's ever seen them. And I just feel like that moment is just so, like, this is when he's going to die. I just don't really need that. Because, like, for instance, if it wasn't like you were the first time you were seeing the movie, like it was for us, you know exactly when he's going to die. You just fucking saw this last year where he died on October, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then you see the date, and then you see him. If you're going to do that, and you're going to give him the date of, like, he dies in 60 days, don't give us the date at the start of the movie. Especially when it's on the cameras later. You give us the start date of the movie, and then you go, he dies in 60 days. Yeah, I can do fucking math. I got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this movie...
Well, I can't, and I appreciate them doing it for me.
That's the most spirited argument you've ever had on the podcast, by far.
Except for her hatred for the lighthouse.
You guys ain't heard nothing yet. If we do Tusk, you'll hear some real hatred.
I think ultimately this movie suffers from, like, what a lot of sequels suffer from, especially, like, horror movies, is that, especially with a horror movie sequel, you kind of have to, there's more of an assumption that maybe your audience hasn't seen the first one. And so I think horror movie sequels have this issue where, one, they explain a little too much, and two, they're trying to maximize their scares rather than be, like, clever and interesting. And I think that just is, like, a horror movie sequel, like...
Well, they can break the
ditch.
chain though, because Insidious Chapter 2 is far better than the first one.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there are some movies where like even I'd go so far as to say like Chapter 2 is really good.
Oh, but it definitely suffers from the same issues though that you're talking about.
But it suffers from the same problems, and I think that like
Right.
And I think that that's a problem that horror movies sequels suffer from, is that like it needs to do too much explanation. Oh, shit.
I think that
my microphone just
for me that's just a cop out. Like I agree with you that that's their issue.
No, I don't think it's like, I think that you can overcome it. I don't think it's a necessary evil of making a sequel to your horror movie.
Yeah.
I just think that it happens.
And then the other issue they always have is like, we have to up the ante. Like, no, you don't.
And it's like, no, you don't. Like everybody
just
was fine with
it. Just instead of going 80 miles down the same road, how about you drive down like a different road?
Yeah.
You know, just change.
Yeah, like
up
you don't have to
things.
do more. You just have to do different.
Yeah, which is the whole point of doing a sequel, is doing something within the same universe that people grabbed onto with the same kind of feel or genre, and then changing it like that. That's why PA2 instead of like PA3, I feel like overcomes that a bit, but PA marked ones is like a different fucking movie. Like, I don't want to get into it, but it just shows that this movie is especially bad because the rest of the series exemplifies, oh, that movie didn't have to be that bad.
Yeah. I think that like you said, like if you're out there gonna make your horror movie sequel and you're listening to this, you might be thinking, well, if I could do twice as many scares, and then half of them will be ones that people are used to, and then half of them will stand out. I would suggest that you do the same amount of scares, just do them differently. Mm-hmm. And then people won't be exhausted by your fucking movie.
You can have an homage scene, like you.
Yeah, like, I mean, like I don't hate that. Like all the Paranormal Activities movies have that dragging out of the bed scene. I think that's fun.
Or the time lapse, you know.
Yeah.
But or like if you, I mean, this is a bad example. I still know what you did last summer. The spinning scene in the rain is hardly the issue with the film,
right?
So repeating that part wasn't that bad. Like obviously,
or like the killing on another glass door.
Exactly.
I don't know. I ain't watching. I was asleep.
But I think that we live in a film culture where now the film nerds control the film culture. Like we have such an effect on sequels and how they come out and what they look like, because we're so loud and passionate as a fandom. So when you live in a cinema world with fandom being essentially its own producer, you know, like Sonic and all these other movies, it's okay to have a bit of fanfare, but there's a difference between fanfare and literally just recycling your movie. And I argue that this movie does recycle.
I mean, yeah, and I would say to like filmmakers out there, you don't have to listen to the riffraff, dude. Like,
I think you should listen to some of it.
You can listen a little bit, but ultimately do your thing. Unless you're making very scary hedgehogs, in which case, listen to the people.
Yeah. Or you're making Halloween 6, you know, maybe watch the other movies. But I'd say, does anybody else have anything to add to this?
I don't know. That felt really short, but it's also not that good of a movie.
I feel like I don't hate this movie as much as you guys do. Like, I feel like it's on par with like the first one for me.
What?
It ain't.
You gotta explain yourself on that.
I think it's just as good. Like, it's very close to as good. The scares are good. I like the storyline. I like the characters better. I like how
the characters are better. I think that's true.
like how we start to get I'm the type of person where when I sit down and watch a movie, I want to try to figure out what's going on. And I like how you start to get the explanation of what is going on. Granted, they don't explain it very well, and they definitely could have done a better way of doing it. But
it don't make a lot of sense.
I think I actually think the argument is they explained that part too well.
Really?
I feel like they beat me over the head. Like they pretty much were
but
like.
I kind of didn't mind it. Like I like the way this plays out. I like the ending. I like the eeriness of seeing like Mika and Katie there with the family.
Yeah, I like that too.
I feel like
I feel like in terms of like the explanation, I feel like this almost gives you too much, and then in subsequent movies it makes less and less sense because they've already given you so much information that now anything else they give you is going to be like, wait, hold on.
They should have like mapped it out a little bit better, but I like that this one was the one we get I liked the original starting point and how they played with it this time.
I find some frustration. So the massacring of the parents, right?
Yeah.
I find some frustration with it. Because they basically, I think the filmmakers, I don't really know the reason why they did it. They desperately wanted to keep the daughter alive. So how do they do it? Oh, she's on a school trip, I guess. Like, for me, it would have been much better if we had seen her, effectively hide and record What's-Her-Face leaving, instead of it just being like still footage, she escaped, What's-Her-Face wasn't there. Like, how cool would it have been if we had gotten a shot of the teenage girl like following What's-Her-Face out of the house, and then the movie just ends like I'm like following her literally. Like, I feel like they took a really interesting character in the stepdaughter when she's alive somewhere, and then
I mean, I really like her living through this movie
because the whole time I do too, but I think they could have done it better.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, especially because she's so like smart and savvy through this whole movie.
That's what I was saying. She is the first character in the series where you see her genuinely being like almost like the gumshoe detective of the film. Like, she's figuring shit out in real time. And I feel like they kind of wash away the relevance of the character by keeping her alive, like not even giving her a death scene and be like, she was on a school trip, you know how it is. Like, I don't know about you, but if I had just seen a demon possess my mother, I wouldn't go on a fucking school trip a month later. Just my opinion. But yeah,
and like there's also the one thing that I find really interesting about this movie is like how they're kind of able to justify just passing this shit on to Katie. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, it's fine, we'll just give it to her.
Yeah, like, they had to shoehorn that in,
I mean, I feel like I kind of get it though. Like, I mean, it's fucked, but he's just trying to protect his baby and his kid.
Right.
No, I understand the concept of how he did it, but I feel like it was just really like messy writing.
I love it. I like it.
Like,
I don't know.
Wouldn't it have made more sense if he had just expelled the demon, and as a result, the demon found Katie?
I feel like
we have to make it like
because the demon's already kind of connected to them.
Yeah, and the fact that he made it so. Here's the other thing too. It would have been a better ending if they had thought they had just expelled it, not knowing that Katie was going to have it taken over. It would make more sense that they were caught off guard because they assumed that it was gone.
Right, because like this demon wants your baby.
Yeah, wouldn't you be on high alert that Katie's going to come over and fucking judo chop you?
Oh yeah, true.
Like, this demon, like a dingo, wants your baby so bad and wants to eat it.
So when the idea of just
put it in
being
somebody that knows your baby, like,
yeah, exactly.
Good point.
And if they had just expelled it and been like, oh, it's gone, and then we find out, no, bitch, it ain't gone.
I just think that's an interesting choice for this film to make, when it would make more sense for them to be like, oh, we exorcised this demon. Like,
I feel like it's just to slightly villainize the likable characters, which is a weird choice to me, because I truly don't believe the daughter nor the father would really be okay.
Yeah,
with
I mean,
fucking somebody over that hard,
and
no
then
matter
like
what the circumstance was.
it's also like, how would their mother feel about that? Like, even though she's not like present right now.
And also, like, I didn't know like expelling a demon gave you like deja vu or whatever. Not deja vu. It gave you like what's the word for it? Amnesia. It just gives you amnesia. Like, all of a sudden you're like, I never know about no demon. My sister keeps crying in the middle of the night. Like, what are you talking about?
I forgot about that part. How. Yeah, the like weird plot hole of the sister doesn't remember.
No, they literally explained she won't remember a thing, which is
That's
like,
so
why wouldn't she?
Weird.
Yeah,
she wouldn't remember anything even before the possession. What tailgates this possession? Does she not remember the childhood? Does she only not remember what happened in the house?
Right.
Does she only remember some of the stuff that happened in the house, but not all of it?
I mean,
because remember, at one point she says, "Sorry, I'm just on a trail here." At one point she says, all that haunting stuff just kind of went away. So what does she remember?
I mean,
right.
As somebody who has had childhood trauma and therefore blacked out a lot, I mean, it's very explainable by they had childhood trauma.
But
and
she
it's blacked
remembers.
The fuck out.
She remembers the childhood. She remembers being slightly haunted. We just don't know how much.
Yeah, but I mean, she probably just blacked out.
What does that mean?
Enough of it.
What?
I mean,
but
and it's a traumatic event. I think it's very plausible that like the character wouldn't remember.
But specifically, explain in the film that she's going to forget, and what tale does Toby decide? Like, all right, you can remember up until then, but after that,
well, I think that what she forgets is like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It's complicated. I don't know.
And it didn't have to be. It could have just been expelled. We think the demon's gone. She could be aware the demon existed, and then they're caught off guard by the fact that suddenly Katie has it.
Yeah.
Better plot.
I get that now. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the other thing. Is there's so
You've
much.
sold me.
Yeah, I should have wrote this movie. No, just kidding. No, anybody else should have.
Yeah, I think again that I think that they were really trying to like churn the sequel out. Obviously, I mean, this movie was still showing in theaters while they were making the sequel to it, and like I think that if they had given it more time and let it sit and like let it go through,
let it sink into like the general consciousness, you know?
and like let it process this script a little more, process this film, have some time to like come up with some new ideas rather than being like, we got to make another one of these while the like strike while the iron's hot. You know?
The original director wanted it to be like after 2 wanted very John Carpenter like was like after 2 it should be an anthology series, and then they didn't do it. I kind of like that idea, but at the same time,
it almost is an anthology. I mean, it's not, but it almost is.
It's not at all. I mean,
It
it
almost
kind of gets more
is.
that way as it goes on, but it's not.
I feel like 3 feels like one.
No.
Not at all.
Bridget said no.
It's literally the prequel to everything.
I know. I just like the way this whole series does the timeline.
I mean, I like it too. I like
This
that it's not
series will always
chronological.
have a special place in my heart. It can't do too much.
And I mean,
wrong.
I don't have the
I'm
don't
one
have
of
a
the
fondness.
biggest PA fans of all time. I'm the one who said we should do all this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready to rate this thing.
All right, I'll go first. This is a 5 out of 10.
6 out of 10 for nostalgia purposes.
7.5 out of 10.
I'll give it a 5.5. Okay, so let's add that up real quick, and then we can call this thing done. Hold on.
Bum, bum, bum.
Where's
Bum,
my
bum, bum.
calculator? Okay, so I said 5.5. Logan said 5. Bridget said 6. Oh, I was just multiplying. Hold on.
It's the best Paranormal Activity movie
It's
ever.
amazing. And Brandy, what did you say?
7.5.
I'm wondering what it's going to be.
6.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's very nice and divisible. Ended up being 24, which is divisible by 4, which I like.
There you go.
It's a 6.
6.
Which I
It's
feel
a
like
6.
is about. I think that's what it deserves.
Oh, yeah, it's exactly where it should be.
Yeah.
All right, I feel good about that. Okay, so what's happening next week?
So I'm gonna list off a couple of things because we don't know the exact order, so we want people to be prepared. We're gonna do Mallrats and The Invitation
Those are two things that do not go together, but we're going to make it.
because we thought Bridget should pick a movie because she had to sit out the Big Lebowski video, and then we also had a lot of recommendations, including Bianca, to do Mallrats. Because we're on a quest to do all the Kevin Smith films.
And that is tentatively what we would like to do next week.
Mm-hmm.
Barring, life happening.
Yep. And then we'll do Jackie Brown for our Quentin Quarantino.
And I am so excited.
Me too. I love Jackie Brown. Franny's never seen it. Bridget,
Bridget's
have you
never seen it.
I've never even really heard of it, so I have no idea.
That is
I'm
why I'm so
blind.
excited because this is so slept on. I'm not going to
Yeah,
do the
I've
podcast
never
right now,
heard about it.
but I just want to say I'm really pumped. And Pam Grier, if you're available, I'm free any day this week.
Pam Grier, dude.
Oh
my
God.
gosh. And then obviously PA 3 and 4, and of course eventually Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, and Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension.
That's a way off. We haven't watched those yet, but those are going to happen sometime.
But those are the movies you guys should be up to date on.
Prioritizing
The Ghost Dimension, I wouldn't recommend watching, but I think I kind of have to since we're going to talk about it. It's
But yeah.
Dimension sounds like
prioritizing
Danny Phantom.
Mallrats and The Invitation because I think that's what we're trying to have happen next week. The Invitation is on Netflix and it's really good.
And Mallrats you can get on any streaming platform for like $3.99.
Even if you don't want to listen to the episode, I think you should watch The Invitation. 'cause
Make
I
sure
like it
you
a lot.
watch the theatrical cut of Mallrats. There are some places that only have the unrated. We're doing the theatrical cut because the unrated one is totally different and not very good. Because it was the original before Warner Brothers wrangled a young Kevin Smith into making an actual movie. So Mallrats, the theatrical cut. Make sure you watch that.
All right, I think that's it.
Alrighty, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, Patreon.
Hell
Get
yeah.
a shout out. We have shout outs.
Get a shout out. Check out
I'll shout
Street
you out.
Stains once again.
I'll shout you out.
And yeah, guys.
love you.
We love y'all.
I'm
We love
engaged.
you
Thank
so
you for
much.
listening.
She's engaged.